Imagine this. Your wheels are less than 10 centimeters from the abyss. With no guardrails, no turning back, and a chasm below, waiting to swallow everything whole. This isn't a scene from an action movie, but the harsh reality that drivers face every day on the most dangerous roads on the planet. From the scar slashed across the Himalayas to the tunnels carved through mountains in Italy, every journey you're about to witness carries an unannounced death sentence. Here, asphalt is a luxury, and life is as fragile as a thread. One wrong turn of the wheel, a split second of lost focus, or a sudden gust of wind is all it takes to turn a journey into a final destination with no return. Welcome to the most dangerous coordinates on Earth, where courage is pushed to its absolute limit, and every meter of road is a gamble with fate. Skardu Road, Pakistan. Stretching 167 kilometers through the Gilgit-Baltistan region, the Skardu Road, S1, is the lifeline connecting the high-altitude capital to the world, but it's also the nightmare of every driver. Seen from above, the road looks like a giant blade cutting across the side of the Himalayas at an altitude of 2,500 meters. On one side, a sharp limestone cliff. On the other, an unguarded abyss where the Indus River constantly roars. Hand-carved by the Pakistani army with explosives in the late 70s, parts of the road are just over 3 meters wide. Just one small mistake is enough to send your vehicle into a freefall into the rushing water below. Although rockfalls and accidents are a constant threat, the allure of Baltistan has never faded. The vibrant artistic trucks and the wild beauty of this place continue to attract adventurous hearts. When you stand on the line between danger and breathtaking beauty, you'll realize that conquering this deadly route is the most priceless experience of a lifetime. Karnali Highway, Nepal. More than just a road, the Karnali Highway in Nepal is a 232-kilometer-long scar carved deep into the majestic Himalayan cliffs. At an altitude of over 3,000 meters, the road surface is a mere 3 meters wide, winding like a giant snake through loose rock mountainsides. Avoiding oncoming traffic here is always a heart-stopping challenge, where the line between life and death is measured in centimeters. At the Kitubia section, a cliff juts out like a shark's jaw, ready to devour overloaded vehicles. Opened in 1992 to end the isolation of the Karnali region, this road is soaked in the sweat and blood of the workers who manually chiseled the rock. Though dozens of people lose their lives here each year, the Karnali Express trucks stubbornly continue to haul their loads. For adventurous hearts, this is the journey of a lifetime. Standing before the abyss, you'll feel incredibly small, yet also resilient, after successfully conquering one of the most dangerous roads on the planet. Tranda Dhank stretch, Kinnaur, India. Located on National Highway 5 in the state of Himachal Pradesh, India, the Tranda Cliff is the terror of every traveler on the India-Tibet route. At an altitude of 2,800 meters, the road isn't on the ground, but is carved directly into the sheer rock face, creating a half-tunnel with a rock overhang that juts out like a giant frog's jaw. You'll face the pressure of falling rocks or hitting the rock roof above. The danger also lies in the narrow sections that are just wide enough for a vehicle, where your tires are sometimes less than 30 centimeters from the Sutlej River abyss, with absolutely no guardrails. Before entering this gate to hell, drivers often stop to pray at the temple of the goddess Tranda Devi. They know that just one small mistake is enough to make their vehicle disappear forever into the fierce river below. Built in the 19th century with explosives and workers hanging from ropes, Tranda Dhank is where the line between life and death is thinner than ever. But it is this heart-pounding drama that has made it a coveted destination for those who want to challenge their own limits. Baikal-Amur mainline, Russia. Forget smooth asphalt roads, because in Siberia, a 4,300-kilometer monster awaits you. That's the Baikal-Amur mainline, BAM. At over 4,300 kilometers long, this route is known as a graveyard for machines. Originally a service road from the 1970s, the BAM is now an abandoned journey that challenges the very limits of human survival. The true killer on this route are the rotten wooden bridges, most notably the Vitim Bridge, which is 15 meters high, 570 meters long, but only 2 meters wide, with no guardrails and always shaking violently. Even so, conquering the BAM road remains a proud rite of passage for explorers. Crossing the Vitim Bridge still brings an intense feeling of self-victory in a place where all maps become useless. If you crave a true adventure, the BAM road is the most glorious chapter in your life's journal. Trampoline de la Muerte, Colombia. Don't let the name Trampoline de la Muerte, or Trampoline of Death, fool you, because this is no game. It is, in fact, the most dangerous road in Colombia, connecting Pasto and Mocoa. Though only 77 kilometers long, this route has over 100 winding hairpin turns on the slopes of the Andes Mountains. With a sudden altitude change from 600 meters to 2,800 meters and a narrow road surface of only 3 to 4 meters, a small steering mistake is enough to send your vehicle flying straight into a deep ravine. Created in 1930 for military purposes, the road seems to ignore all safety rules. It has no guardrails, the dirt road is often eroded by waterfalls, and fog can wipe out visibility in just 30 seconds. The red candlelit shrines along the road are a painful testament to the hundreds of people who die here each year. Because of this, a special culture of yielding to other drivers still exists here. Despite the danger, the feeling of driving through a waterfall right on the edge of a cliff has a powerful pull, urging adventurous souls to conquer this corridor into the Amazon. Cañón del Pato, Peru. At an altitude of 1,800 meters, Cañón del Pato, or Duck Canyon, is a breathtaking destination for adventure seekers. This 40-kilometer road is like a thin crack wedged between two giant mountain ranges, the Cordillera Blanca and the Cordillera Negra. In many sections, the two sheer cliffs are only 6 meters apart. But the biggest challenge is the system of 35 dark mountain tunnels, hand-carved and just wide enough for one lane of traffic. Built in the 1950s on an old railway bed, this road, less than 4 meters wide, is like a stone torture chamber. To survive, drivers must strictly follow the rule of honking before entering a tunnel to avoid head-on collisions. Cañón del Pato is definitely not for the faint of heart, with the dangers of rock falls and temporary blindness due to sudden light changes. However, the raw, majestic beauty of the canyon has a magnetic pull. Khardung La Pass, India. Located in the Ladakh Range at a staggering altitude of 5,359 meters, Khardung La Pass was once honored as the highest motorable pass in the world. Seen from above, the road is like a winding white crack around the year-round snow-capped peaks. Opened in 1976 to supply the Siachen battlefield, the challenge at Khardung La is not just the deep abyss, but also the severe lack of oxygen. With oxygen levels at only 50%, both people and vehicle engines struggle to function. When visiting, you'll be warned not to stay at the top of the pass for more than 20 minutes to avoid the risk of acute pulmonary edema or stroke from altitude sickness. Whether under the blazing sun or in the bone-chilling -40 degrees Celsius cold, the colorful prayer flags still flutter in the wind, as if welcoming brave hearts. Khardung La is not just a journey. It's a place where your courage is tested against the ultimate majesty and grandeur of nature. Abra del Acay Pass, Argentina. At an altitude of nearly 5,000 meters in the Andes, there's a place where your tires don't roll on asphalt, but on the edge of survival. Welcome to Abra del Acay, located on the legendary Route 40. With a loose gravel surface, sharp turns, and absolutely no guardrails, the line between life and the sky here is just one wheel's turn away. Inaugurated in 1960, after more than a decade of manual rock chiseling, this road challenges people with a severe lack of oxygen. It causes engines to lose 50% of their power and can make drivers experience hallucinations. Rainy season landslides are always ready to sweep everything into the deep, traceless abyss. Therefore, before crossing the pass, drivers often stop at the Apachita stone piles to sincerely offer coca leaves to Mother Earth, Pachamama, to pray for a safe journey. Despite the lurking dangers, the wild beauty and the feeling of touching the stars still make Acay a dream destination for adventure enthusiasts. Halsema Highway, Philippines. Imagine you're speeding along a narrow strip of road in the clouds, with a sheer mountain on one side and a 300-meter unguarded drop on the other. Welcome to Halsema, the holy land of the speeding vegetable trucks. Cutting through the Cordillera mountain range, the Halsema Highway is the highest road in the Philippines and also a terrifying nightmare. It's 150 kilometers long, with its highest point at 2,255 meters in Atok, and it's feared for the horrific landslides that are a constant threat, having buried many vehicles in the deep ravines. Construction began in 1922, but Halsema's biggest challenge is its notorious flesh-eating fog, a dense fog that can wipe out visibility to less than 1 meter in an instant. The countless warning signs along the road are like silent incense sticks for the deceased. However, the soul of the road lies in the kamote, or vegetable trucks, which speed like crazy to make it to the market on time. The haunting beauty of the clouds and the heart-pounding feeling on every meter of the road create an irresistible attraction. Mestia to Ushguli Road, Georgia. Forget your GPS maps, because the road connecting Mestia and Ushguli in Svaneti, Georgia, will make any navigation device useless against the power of nature. Though only 45 kilometers long, this crack-in time takes drivers up to 5 hours to travel as it climbs from an altitude of 1,500 meters to 2,100 meters. Right below the road is the ferocious Inguri River, ready to swallow anything. The challenge lies in the constantly changing terrain, from crumbling asphalt to deep mud and loose gravel. With absolutely no guardrails, this place becomes a dangerous game every time rock slides or mud flows occur in the spring. Going downhill on the slippery gravel surface is a mental battle. Just 1 second of overheating the brakes, and the price you pay is the deep abyss. Despite the danger, with cars that have been thrown from the cliff's edge, the beauty of the snow-covered peak of Shkara still has a powerful pull. The legends of the brave Svaneti warriors always inspire adventure seekers to conquer the highest natural fortress in Europe. Patio Pertikaki Road, Greece. Located in the rugged Agrafa mountain region, the 23.5-kilometer-long Patio Pertikaki Road is one of the most brutal challenges in Europe. With an altitude that jumps from 700 meters to 1,100 meters, the road surface is only packed dirt and loose gravel, with absolutely no asphalt or guardrails. Driving here is like walking a tightrope without a safety net, because one slight slip of the hand is enough for you to face the abyss right next to your wheels. Originally widened from a livestock trail in the mid-20th century with crude explosives, this is the only lifeline connecting the remote villages. The car wrecks in the deep valley below are a stark warning against overconfidence when conquering this place. However, it's this very harshness that creates a strange attraction for Patio Pertikaki. The best drivers often come here to conquer their limits, because the danger only makes their victory more glorious. Sach Pass, India. If the Himalayas are an adventure mecca, then Sach Pass is the most brutal test. Located in the Pir Panjal range at an altitude of 4,420 meters, this 170-kilometer route is hailed by Indian drivers as the king of all passes. Here, asphalt is a luxury. Instead, there's a heart-stoppingly narrow path with a slippery gravel surface where your wheels roll right on the edge of the abyss with no guardrails whatsoever. Opened in 2005 to end the isolation of the Pangi Valley, Sach Pass challenges the most advanced driving skills. You'll have to drive through snow walls up to 15 meters high or face waterfalls crashing directly onto your windshield. Before crossing the pass, drivers often stop at the Bhagwati temple to leave a final farewell in case they don't return. The sound of the wind whistling through the wreckage of unrecoverable cars in the abyss creates an unforgettable, haunting feeling. Although it's a game of roulette with death, the feeling of being so close to danger creates an intense attraction. The world's biggest daredevils always long to conquer Sach Pass, to face and overcome their ultimate fear once in their lifetime. The Baikal Ice Road, Russia. Never wear your seatbelt and always keep your car door slightly open. That's the rule of survival when you set foot on the Baikal Ice Road in harsh Siberia. In winter, when the surface of Lake Baikal freezes over a meter thick, a 30-kilometer route connecting Olkhon Island to the mainland is established. You'll feel like you're driving between the deep blue sky, but right under your feet is a bottomless glass abyss. The scariest challenge is the thermal cracks, up to 2 meters wide, which appear suddenly and are big enough to swallow a large truck. To survive, drivers here don't wear seatbelts and always keep their doors slightly ajar, ready to jump out in seconds if the ice breaks. Even though Baikal still claims about 30 vehicles a year and carries with it the tragedy of freezing since 1920, the magnificent beauty of the emerald green ice blocks still has a powerful allure. Adventurous hearts are still willing to face the risk for a glorious experience in the great Siberian wilderness. Wadi Bani auf Pass Road, Oman. In the Al-Hajar Mountains of Oman, there is a road where the margin for error is measured in millimeters. Wadi Bani Auf is not just an off-road journey, it's a 26-kilometer-long crack, winding along a sheer limestone cliff. At 26 kilometers long, at an altitude of 2,000 meters, the road is terrifying due to its rough, rocky surface and complete lack of guardrails. Steep inclines of up to 35%, right next to a 1,000-meter deep abyss, make this journey a life-or-death challenge. Originally an ancient Bedouin trail, this route connecting the isolated oasis of Balad site is always waiting to swallow inexperienced drivers. The biggest challenge is the road surface that slides slightly under the wheels, forcing drivers to have nerves of steel to manage traction right on the edge of the cliff. Although one small mistake is enough to turn a car into a wreck at the bottom of the canyon, Wadi Bani Auf still has a captivating allure. The timeless beauty of the ancient village in the middle of a stone labyrinth always invites the most skilled drivers to confront the wrath of the Wadi. Copper Canyon Road, Mexico. With a system of canyons 4 times deeper than the Grand Canyon, Copper Canyon is a truly breathtaking challenge. The road leading down to the village of Bato Pilas was carved straight into the Sierra Madre cliffs in the early 20th century. With a sudden altitude change from 600 meters to 2,500 meters, many sections of the road are just wide enough for a small truck, perched precariously on the edge of an 1,800 meters abyss with absolutely no guardrails. The biggest challenges here are the landslide-prone hairpin turns and the extreme climate contrasts. On the slippery sandy surface, just a small brake failure is enough to send you into an endless void. The image of the Tarahumara people, the legendary running people who glide past vehicles like ghosts, is a reminder of human humility in the face of great nature. Despite its harshness, Copper Canyon has a brilliant beauty, with its copper-colored cliffs shimmering in the sun. This is a journey to conquer the most majestic stone labyrinth in Mexico, an unforgettable experience for those who love to break their own limits. Tizi Pass, Morocco. Located in the majestic High Atlas Mountains, the Tizi Pass is one of the most challenging roads in North Africa. At an altitude of 2,093 meters, the road twists like a spring, clinging to the sheer limestone cliffs. With an eroded surface and absolutely no guardrails, you'll feel like you're driving on a razor's edge, suspended in the air, where the line between life and death is just one wrong turn of the steering wheel away. Built by the French in 1924 to open a route to the south, Tizi is a brutal psychological test. The ultimate challenge lies in the 180-degree turns, right on the edge of a 1,000-meter deep abyss, where the wreckage of cars at the bottom is a stark warning to anyone who is careless. Despite all the risks, the raw beauty of the Berber land has an irresistible pull. Conquering this legendary Gate of the Wind is always a desire for adventurous hearts who want to touch the pinnacle of freedom. Devil's Backbone, Texas, USA. Located in the peaceful Texas Hill Country, the Devil's Backbone, part of FM 32, is a hauntingly challenging entity. About 34 kilometers long, the road winds along the top of a narrow, undulating limestone ridge, looking like giant vertebrae. The route is famous for its extremely dangerous blind crests. Drivers can't see if a sharp curve or a deep drop is on the other side of the hill, and the entire journey has almost no guardrails. Paved in the 1940s for agricultural trade, the incidents of cars plunging into the valley or colliding with wildlife that happen year after year are a testament to the untamed nature of this land. However, the eerie atmosphere and unexplained supernatural phenomena have turned it into a powerful magnet. Devil's Backbone is not just a road, but a journey that tests the courage of those who crave a once-in-a-lifetime adventure. Skeleton Coast Road, Namibia. Welcome to a place where life is a luxury concept called the Skeleton Coast. Here, the C34 road, made of compacted salt, doesn't lead you to a typical tourist destination, but straight into a global graveyard stretching between the Namib Desert and the Atlantic Ocean. Although it runs 500 kilometers right at sea level, this place is besieged by 200 meters high sand dunes and dangerous sinking sand traps. When fog rolls in, the salt road becomes slippery, turning the journey into a life or death challenge. The most haunting challenge is the absolute isolation. No phone signal, no gas stations, no water sources. The Kasimbo fog can wipe out visibility in an instant, while the salty sand silently corrodes engines. The name Skeleton Coast is linked to over 1,000 shipwrecks and countless scattered dry bones from the 19th century. Although the tragedy of the Dunedin Star in 1942 is a stark warning, the haunting beauty of the ghost ships in the fog is a compelling reason to challenge yourself on this road once in your lifetime. San Boldo Pass, Italy. San Boldo Pass in Veneto, Italy, will completely change your definition of a tunnel. Nicknamed the 100-day road, this engineering marvel sits at an altitude of 706 meters with a one-of-a-kind structure. The pass includes 5 steep tunnels carved through the mountain, connected by precarious bridges. Built rapidly in 1918 by the Austro-Hungarian army during World War I, the road is a testament to the extraordinary efforts of thousands of prisoners of war. The breathtaking challenge here is the 12% grade on an extremely narrow road, just wide enough for one-way traffic. Driving through the pass is a brutal psychological test, as you have to make 180-degree turns inside the dark tunnels, where the jagged rock ceiling is just centimeters from your car mirror. Although a traffic light system has helped reduce collisions, the feeling of starting on an incline right at the edge of a cliff still makes even the most courageous drivers tremble. San Boldo is not just a pass, but a place where you touch history and conquer one of the most dangerous staircases on the planet. Lake Pontchartrain Causeway, Louisiana, USA. Stretching across a giant lake in the US, the Pontchartrain Causeway is the longest continuous bridge over water in the world. At nearly 38.4 kilometers long and only 5 to 6 meters above the water, the structure looks like it stretches all the way to the horizon. The scariest experience on this bridge is that for a 13-kilometer stretch in the middle, land completely disappears from your view. The endlessly straight road can lead to highway hypnosis combined with thick fog that obscures visibility. Built in 1956, this place often causes causeway panic for drivers. With very low railings, a sharp turn of the wheel could send your car flying straight into the lake. Despite the dangers, driving in the strong sea wind still gives a majestic feeling, as if you're gliding on a white piano key connecting the clouds and water. Conquering Pontchartrain is not just a journey, but a compelling psychological challenge for those who want to face the infinity of nature. BR 319, Brazil. In the middle of the Amazon jungle, there is a road that is being silently swallowed by the rainforest, called the BR 319. Connecting Manaus and Porto Velho over a length of 877 kilometers, it's called by drivers by the fearsome name Highway to Hell. Seen from above, the BR 319 is like a gash on the lush green velvet carpet of the Amazon. In particular, the 400-kilometer central section has no phone signal or gas stations, where the jungle has reclaimed almost the entire road surface. Inaugurated in 1973 and then abandoned, the BR 319 has become an extreme survival challenge. Here, any problem can become a tragedy if a lone driver faces malaria or is surrounded by the jungle. Despite the harshness, with missing vehicles being covered by the Great Forest, the primitive beauty of the Amazon still has a powerful allure. The desire to conquer this no man's land always pushes courageous drivers to come here. Dades Gorges, Morocco. Located in the Atlas Mountains at an altitude of 1,500 meters, the Dades Gorges is a mecca for those who long to conquer. The road appears like a brilliant red ribbon, winding in layers between sheer cliffs up to 500 meters high. Seen from above, the Cadillac slope with its series of back-to-back zigzag turns looks like the grooves of a giant brain, where the line between life and death is just one turn of the steering wheel away. Carved directly into the limestone during the French colonial period, Dades is a mental test with its 180-degree hairpin turns and complete lack of guardrails. The Berber people still tell tales of the Monkey Fingers rock formations, always waiting for careless drivers. The danger also comes from sudden flash floods or rock slides that can crush vehicles in an instant. However, the surreal beauty and the feeling of participating in a thrilling snake and prey game still attract thousands of tourists to enjoy the ultimate majesty of nature. Moki Dugway, Utah, USA. Imagine you're driving on a giant lightning bolt-shaped gash, connecting the ground to the sky of the Valley of the Gods. That's an accurate description of Moki Dugway, one of the most hair-raising passes in the world. Though only 4.8 kilometers long, this road in southern Utah takes you on a sudden climb of 365 meters with an 11% grade. Built in 1958 to transport uranium ore, the road has no pavement or guardrails. The slippery, loose gravel surface right on the cliff's edge, along with 180-degree hairpin turns, is a breathtaking challenge, where the back end of large trucks can hang in mid-air. Named after the ancient Pueblo people, this place has witnessed tragedies of falling more than 300 meters due to loss of control. However, Moki Dugway has become a mecca for adventurous travelers, where they feel tiny in the face of the grandeur of Utah's nature. Lena Highway, Russia. Stretching 1,212 kilometers through the taiga forest to the city of Yakutsk, the Lena Highway is one of the most brutal roads on the planet. In winter, it's a white ribbon, as hard as steel, at minus 60 degrees Celsius. But when summer comes, it turns into a river of thick mud up to 1 meter deep, ready to swallow your wheels. Built by Gulag prisoners starting in 1925 for gold and diamond mining, the Lena Highway carries the spirit of patience and tragedy. Drivers often tell stories of being stuck for weeks in a sea of mud, or having to burn parts of their cabin to stay warm and avoid freezing to death. The ultimate challenge comes at the end of the journey. Since there is no bridge, drivers are forced to drive directly on the frozen surface of the Lena River, which is full of deadly cracks. Though nicknamed the Highway from Hell, the Lena Highway has a haunting and captivating beauty. Conquering this road is a legendary milestone, a journey for those who want to touch the very edge of endurance. Sach Pass, Vietnam. Connecting Hue and Da Nang over the Bac Ma mountain range, Sach Pass is the most treacherous coastal road in Vietnam. At an altitude of 500 meters, the 21-kilometer road winds like a giant stone dragon, sandwiched between a mountain cliff and a deep abyss that drops straight into the East Sea. Built in 1902, this transportation choke point challenges all drivers with its deadly hairpin turns. The poetic beauty of Lang Co Bay can easily distract drivers, while the roadside shrines create extreme psychological pressure at night. Although there is now a tunnel, Hai Van remains a mental battleground for motorcyclists. Just a split second of losing control or brake failure on a blind curve, and the abyss will give no one a second chance. Putting all dangers aside, its title of Most Magnificent Pass and the feeling of touching the clouds at the top of the slope will surely overwhelm you. This is a journey that any travel-loving heart yearns to conquer at least once in their lifetime. The journey to conquer the world's most dangerous roads is not for the faint of heart, but the reward is an experience that will shake all your senses. Every death-defying curve or deep cliff edge is a true test of your courage. From this list, which road do you find the most terrifying and challenging? Would you dare to get behind the wheel and face death in exchange for these magnificent landscapes? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on the next thrilling journeys. See you next time.